Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to feature some of the weapons that will be featured in our upcoming videos. We're going to be doing a deep dive on all of these weapons, a lot of full auto shoots, some daytime shoots, some nighttime shoots, tracers, shooting various things that react in various ways. Going to be a lot of fun. And one thing I did want to say about the channel and the content. There's a couple things on my channel you won't see. And what you won't see is a bunch of CGI crap in the background. What you see is real, what you see is what you get. You know, I don't do any kind of CGI. And number two, you will never see me decked out in a bunch of tactical crap running around like I'm part of DevGru or SFOD. I'm not, I never have been, and I'm not going to act like it. What I am is a firearms and weapons enthusiast with about 25 years experience in the industry. Been issued a couple of patents in the ballistics field. We'll go into that later. I've got a lot of experience with ballistics and firearms, and I enjoy passing that information along to those interested in learning more about them. So that's what you'll get on my channel. You're not going to get me running around acting like I'm some kind of, special forces operator. None of that. So, like I said, this video is going to be about the weapons that are going to be featured in upcoming deep dive videos. And since it is center screen, let's start with the RPK. The RPK is basically the bigger brother of the AK. And for those not familiar, AK stands for Автомат Kalashnikova. And RPK, it's Ручной пулемет Kalashnikova, which literally translates into light handheld machine gun of Kalashnikov. Other than the clubfoot stock and the longer, heavier barrel, it's an AK. That's basically the only difference. A lot of fun, very, very pleasant weapon to shoot. When you drop the bipod and you lock in behind that buttstock, it's pleasant, particularly when you have the 75 round drum attached. It's a pretty heavy weapon, very mild recoil, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Above it, we have a very common weapon, particularly in the Middle East, the RPG-7. A couple of cool facts about this particular RPG-7. First, this weapon was imported for us from the factory in Bulgaria. It is brand new, never fired. When we received it, it still had the Cosmoline on it from the factory in Bulgaria. And number two, this is not a re-weld or, where they took a demilled one and put it back together. No, this is a factory fresh, brand new RPG. The civilian legal versions have a hole here under the handguards. And right here where the hammer and firing pin is, there's actually a pin welded through so you can't even put a rocket all the way in. This one, there's the firing pin there. And of course, go bang. And the trigger has to be all the way in for the hammer to go up and engage the firing pin. So in upcoming videos, just as soon as we can secure some land and get it approved for demo, we'll be firing the RPG. And of course, we will be featuring those videos on the channel. We hope to put some cars out there and make little pieces out of big cars, refrigerators, you name it. It'll be a lot of fun. And we do, of course, have the correct optics for it. We actually have two. Here's one of them right here. And a very rare, these rockets here started life as real rockets, but we had EOD demill them so we could put them on display. And everybody, you normally see the green ones. This black Chinese rocket is the only one I have ever seen. I had to buy it. I probably paid way too much for it, but that's okay. I had to have it. It's just a really cool rocket. And in the upcoming videos on this launcher, we're going to be doing a deep dive not only on the projectiles themselves and how they work, but the launcher and how it works. There's some interesting science behind all of this. It's just really cool. Speaking of Russian weapons, right below that, we have the Vitязь. So Vitязь literally translates in Russian to night, and it's an interesting little submachine gun. It's kind of a cross between an Uzi, which is right below it, we'll get to that in a moment, and the MP5, which we actually have two of right there. Now, all the other Russian submachine guns are chambered in Russian calibers, 7.62 25 Tokarev or 9x18 Makarov. So I think the Russians were kind of telegraphing their intentions with this subgun because it is chambered from the Izhmash factory in 9mm NATO. It is the only weapon in Russian military history to be chambered in 9mm, a NATO caliber. That's kind of a clue, you know? Kind of lets me know what their intentions are. Because if you're invading a country, you want to have access to their ammo. Neat little subgun. The stock folds just like on the AK-74s. It's just a neat gun. You can put some optics on the top. You see the rail there. And I'll zoom in here and you can see the Russian markings on the selector. It is a registered post-sample submachine gun, and it is a lot of fun. A pretty high rate of fire. The recoil is slightly more than an MP5, just a little bit, but it's still very, very pleasant to shoot. Under that, we have the ubiquitous Uzi. Been in service for about 50 years. 40 plus countries use them, and for about 25 years, the Uzi was the primary weapon of the United States Secret Service. One of the most famous photos of the Uzi ever taken was right after President Reagan was shot. There was a Secret Service agent that just magically produced one of these full-size submachine guns out from under his suit. And he's standing there looking around, and he has the Uzi propped up in his arm. And that is one of the most famous photos of the Uzi. And it was the Secret Service weapon of choice for 25 plus years. Interesting. So moving on, since we're still talking about subguns, is we have two MP5s. We have this configuration, which has the fixed stock and the taper style front handguard. And then this one, we have the collapsible stock and the other style handguard. They both have the Sonus 9 cans on them. I love these cans. I absolutely love them. You can use them with or without the wipes. You can see we've kind of blown the wipes out on this one because we like to shoot it in full auto. The MP5 speaks for itself. They are amazing. They have the recoil of a .22 Magnum. They're just silly fun. And those cans are silly quiet. We'll be doing a deep dive on this combination in some upcoming videos for sure. A couple other weapons we'll be featuring is the .22 caliber Glock with the Element 2 can, also very quiet and a lot of fun. And our Tactical 1911A1 with the Tyrant 45 light laser. Going to be doing a deep dive on that. That's a lot of fun. Going to have some comparison videos coming out. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet on what, but you guys will enjoy the videos we've got coming up on that. Moving over to the other wall, if you are a Marine Corps veteran, you will recognize these M16A4s. So on the top there, we just have three standard ones. Then we have one with the quad rail. And then we have this one with a quad rail bipod and the out of production SPR M4. Actually a pretty good can. Don't really have any complaints on that can. And below that, we have a custom build here that we did just kind of for fun. Now, that bottom weapon, I kind of refer to that as a DMR HB light machine gun. DMR HB LMG. And you may think, okay, that's a contradiction in terms. It is a DMR, okay, that gun will shoot. It's a quarter MOA gun with 77 grain match. We're getting a ragged hole, 3-shot group at 100. That gun will shoot. But it's also a heavy barrel light machine gun because it is a select fire weapon. It's fun. So if you need to put a round on a target a long way away, or you need to do suppressive fire, it'll do both. And of course it has the size 6 can. We use those on our subguns. Very good can. I have a lot of good things to say about that can. We'll be doing a deep dive on that in some upcoming videos. It's going to be fun. This wall, if you're an Army vet, you'll recognize all of these 14.5 inch M4s. Just a standard issue M4A1s. When I was in, it's been a long time ago, I carried the M16A1. I went in 92. Things have changed quite a bit, but this is the standard issue now. Moving on over here, we have some 11.5 inch SBRs. I have 3 matching. These are some of our rental guns here. A lot of fun there. And last but not least is our 10.5 SBR. This is our CQBR. Of course, you know, this was featured in one of the previous videos. Quad rail, EATEC, and the can we got pretty hot. That size 6 can is fun. I mean, it takes some punishment. It really, really takes some punishment. And this is also one of our rental weapons. So there's just kind of a quick tour of some of the weapons we're going to be doing deep dives on here in some upcoming videos. And like I said, we do have a lot more weapons coming in inventory. So we're going to be making some very cool, educational, and entertaining content. If you're a firearms enthusiast, please consider subscribing to the channel. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.